You've heard people say, the less you care, the more they chase, and you might have brushed it off as some cold, manipulative line that players use to justify treating women like they don't matter. But if you really look at what's happening, you'll realize it's not about being heartless, it's about protecting your energy, and ironically, it's the only way you'll stop getting ghosted, played, or left wondering why she suddenly lost interest after you gave her your heart. Most men think if they're open, expressive, and show how much they like her, she'll like them back, because we've been conditioned to believe that love is earned through proving ourselves, through giving her everything so she feels secure enough to stay. But attraction doesn't work like that. Attraction is built in uncertainty, in the unknown, in the mystery that keeps her wondering about you when you're not around. The moment you give her everything up front, the moment you start texting her paragraphs, telling her how much she means to you before she's invested, before she's proven she deserves that level of access to your heart, she loses that spark, that hunger to discover you, turn your focus. She starts to question, why is this guy giving me everything before I've done anything? And that question kills desire. You might think you're being romantic, but in her world, you're just another guy who can't control his emotions, another man who is too eager to hand over his value, another man who validates her just because she's pretty. And she's surrounded by that. She's surrounded by men who orbit her, who pedestalize her, who hand over attention like it's free. She doesn't respect it, even if she doesn't admit it out loud, because women don't fall for men who are too available, too predictable, too easy to read. They fall for men who stand solid in themselves, who can feel attraction, but don't let that attraction control their behavior, who can appreciate her beauty, but not chase her because of it, who can walk away when respect isn't being shown, who can say no even when every other man would beg to stay. This isn't about being cold. It's about being centered, grounded, untouchable in your frame, because the moment you hand over your emotional world before she's earned it, you kill the tension that creates attraction. The less you care, the more she chases, not because you're playing games, but because your life, your mission, your peace, your time, and your energy are more important than chasing her validation, and that is what makes you the man she can't stop thinking about. Most guys think that being sweet, open, and emotionally expressive is the master key to a woman's heart, that if they just show her how much they care, she'll finally see them as the one worth choosing. But the truth is, what really grabs her attention isn't how much you love her, it's how much you love yourself, and how you're willing to protect that love at all costs. It's the man who can look at her beauty and appreciate it without turning into a fool for it. The man who can walk away when she crosses a line. The man who can say no even if he wants her. That isn't being cruel, it's discipline. It's the strength to not abandon yourself just to gain her. It's the power to hold your frame when most men would break for her attention. That power is rare in a world where men give away their validation for free, hoping to be liked, hoping to get chosen, hoping to get a chance to be near her just because she's pretty. Women may complain about it, but deep down they feel it. They are drawn to it because it's different, it's strong, it's unshakable. They are not attracted to words or long declarations of love. They are drawn to energy, to the calm, quiet, centered energy of a man who is not desperate, who doesn't chase, who doesn't need her to complete him. It's not about being silent and brooding just to seem interesting. It's about being silent because you're too focused on your mission to be constantly trying to win her over. You don't need her validation, and that lack of need is exactly what makes her want yours. You walk into a room with your energy, unbothered, and she feels it, even if she doesn't know why she's feeling it. She starts wondering why you aren't like the others, Why you're not reacting to her beauty the way others do. Why you aren't trying to prove yourself. Why you aren't trying to convince her to choose you. You're different because you already chose yourself first, and that self-respect, that inner stillness, that quiet confidence, that is what draws her in. She can't help but lean in, to test you, to challenge you, to try to see if you will break. And when you don't, when you remain calm, when you don't rush to please, when you don't get emotional when she pulls away, she sees you as the man she can't control, the man she can't fully figure out, the man she thinks about late at night, wondering why she wants you even more now. You're not proving anything with words. You're proving everything with your energy. You become the mystery she can't solve, the man who makes her want to prove herself to you, because you have already proven yourself to yourself. And nothing is more powerful than that. Here's what most men will never understand about women. It's not the sweet good morning texts, constant reassurance, or predictable attention that keeps her hooked. It's inconsistency, but not the flaky, immature kind that comes from insecurity. It's the natural unpredictability of a man living his mission, a man who doesn't drop everything to revolve around her. A man who knows she doesn't get unlimited access just because she's pretty or because she gave him attention for a few days. One day, you're warm and attentive because you genuinely want to share your energy. The next day, you're focused on your goals, your gym, your money, your purpose, and you're not available for hours, maybe even days. Not because you're ignoring her, but because your life doesn't pause for her validation. This subtle unpredictability creates tension, and tension creates attraction. She never quite knows where she stands. Not because you're playing her, but because you're not broadcasting your emotional world every second of the day. She finds herself wondering what you're doing, why you didn't reply instantly, why you're not giving her the constant validation she's used to getting from every man who slides into her DMs. She will test you, pull away, act cold, but when you remain calm, when you don't chase, when you don't break, it drives her crazy in a way she can't explain to her friends. Bad boys naturally embody this because they're selfish with their attention. They don't over-communicate. They don't try to prove themselves. They don't feel the need to be liked. Women claim to hate this, but it triggers something deep inside them that makes them obsessed, because it feels like a challenge, like something they need to earn. It's primal, and it makes them feel alive. This doesn't mean you should act toxic or treat her with disrespect. But you should understand that when you don't immediately give her everything, when you don't reveal all your cards, when you don't pedestalize her, you create emotional waves inside her that she can't ignore. She starts thinking about you, wondering about you, dreaming about you, because you aren't fully available, because you're not giving her the comfort of predictability. You're focused on your purpose, your grind, your peace. And she has to fit into your world, not the other way around. She feels drawn to you, even if she tries to deny it, because deep down, women crave a man who has the discipline to withhold his energy until she earns it, a man who isn't easily shaken by beauty or attention, a man who cannot be controlled. It's not about being a jerk. It's about being a man who values his mission and self-respect above external validation, and that is what makes her want to chase you, because you are the rare man she can't quite catch, and she'll keep trying until she does.
Texting is the battlefield where most men lose their power without even realizing it, turning themselves into just another name on her phone that she can ignore whenever she feels like it. You meet a woman, feel the spark, and instead of letting it build, you start flooding her with messages, trying to keep her attention by always being available, replying instantly, double texting when she doesn't reply fast enough, overthinking every emoji, every word, every punctuation mark. You think this is what will show her you care, that you're interested, that you're different from the rest. But to her, it's the same tired pattern she's seen 100 times before. You've handed her all the power the moment you let her see that you're glued to your phone waiting for her replies, letting your mood depend on her next message, letting your mind obsess over when and if she responds. What you don't realize is that it's not your availability that kills attraction. It's the predictability, the emotional exposure, the desperate energy that she can feel even through a screen. She can sense you waiting, hoping, needing her to respond, to feel validated. And that's when the dynamic flips. She doesn't have to earn your attention. She doesn't have to work for your focus. She doesn't have to chase your energy because you're handing it to her for free, without boundaries, without self-respect. And she loses interest, not because you're a bad guy, but because you're too easy to figure out, too easy to get, too easy to control. The man who flips the game is the one who doesn't need to text her all day, who doesn't need her replies to feel confident, who is busy with his mission, his gym, his hustle, his peace, his goals, letting her wonder where he is and what he's doing. The man who replies when he's free, who doesn't feel the need to keep the conversation alive when it's not necessary, who allows silence to do the heavy lifting for him. That man becomes the mystery she can't ignore. She checks her phone to see if you've messaged. She wonders why you're not flooding her notifications. She feels the tension of your absence, and it makes her feel something she can't control, because it's not your constant attention that makes her crave you. It's the moments when you pull away, when you leave her with a taste of your energy and then disappear to handle your life, when she doesn't know when she'll hear from you again. That's what makes her replay your messages, check your stories, ask herself what you're thinking. She craves the emotional roller coaster you create without trying, simply because you refuse to let a woman become the center of your universe before she's earned it. You stop being the man who's always available and become the man she has to earn, the man who knows his value, the man who doesn't need to prove himself through constant texting. And that's the man who never gets ghosted because she knows your attention is rare, and rare is valuable. Asterisk, pulling back feels dangerous the first time. You do it because you're conditioned to think if you don't keep showing interest, do you forget about you, lose interest, or find another guy. You worry you're playing a game that could backfire. But the truth is, pulling back doesn't kill attraction, it reveals it. If she's only there for attention and validation, she will vanish the moment you stop giving her constant energy, and that's a blessing because it saves you time and emotional drain. But if she's genuinely interested, she will feel your absence, she will notice your silence, and she will step up, reach out, and begin to invest, because real attraction thrives in the unknown, not in constant reassurance. Most men are too scared to find out where they stand, so they keep performing, texting, proving, and chasing to maintain a false sense of connection that dies the moment they pull back. But a man who understands his worth isn't afraid to walk away if a woman isn't matching his energy. He isn't afraid to leave her on read if her attitude shifts, isn't afraid to let her wonder if she still has him, because he knows that his value doesn't decrease just because someone stops giving him attention. Women respect a man who can detach, who wants her but doesn't need her, who can feel attraction but won't let it make him lose focus on his purpose, his mission, and his self-respect. Detachment is not about being cold or playing childish games. It is the highest form of self. It allows you to stay calm, unbothered, and in control of your emotions when her behavior tests you, because she will test you to see if you break like the others, to see if your interest makes you weak. And when you don't break, when you remain centered, she feels it deeply, and it triggers something inside her that makes her chase, invest, and prove herself to you. This is what most men fail to understand. They think they need to force attraction by doing more, saying more, proving more. But you don't need to prove anything when you already know your worth. Your silence becomes louder than your words. Your absence becomes a presence, and your ability to walk away becomes your power. You don't become bitter, you become selective. You don't become heartless, you become disciplined. You don't become manipulative, you become untouchable. And that is what flips the game forever. You're no longer the man hoping to be chosen. You become the man who chooses. You're no longer one of the many guys orbiting her for a chance. You're the man she orbits because she knows you won't beg, you won't chase, you won't lower your standards for temporary validation. You have standards, boundaries, and purpose. And once you embrace that mindset, you will never chase again, because you'll understand the power of detachment and the respect it commands without you ever having to demand it.